Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. Today's topic is going to be on ancestral altar setups. I'm going to give you some history, I'm going to give you some word meanings. I am going to give you some supplies that you may need and just help you guide in your own way how you want to set up an ancestral altar, whether it'll be a big altar or whether you're unable to open openly practice amongst others, ways to be secretive with your altar settings and so forth. So let's begin. I am wonderful. For those of you that don't know me, welcome. Subscribe, like, um, and just get with me, bond with me. We're here for the long haul. Um, so, beginning in the ancestral altar setup is a little history. So, assembling altars has been a thing since the beginning of time, meaning biblically. In the biblical days, the Bible mentions the word altar 55 times throughout it. So that definitely lets you know that an altar is not evil. It can be if that's what you're choosing for it to be, but the focus here is on ancestral altars. And I'm also going to give you all some other kinds of altar setups as well. So the word altar means any structure of earth or unwrought stone in which sacrifices were offered. So using this plate can be an altar. So it's just any little surface, whether stone, glass, table, shells, books, wood, floors, walls, you can make altars anywhere. All nationalities believe in altars of some sort, whether they're ancestral or shrine altars. The difference between an ancestral altar and a shrine is more for idols, relics, statues, can be pictures, um, or objects that associate with some sort of figure. The altar, on the other hand, is more for making offerings or honoring using violet lights or which are candles, food, money, water, liquor, or any other sort of items like photos. They're set out with the intent to communicate between yourself and a deceased loved one. Excuse me. Um, so most of us know that October is one of the best months to prep altars to connect with our loved ones. The veil between earth and spirit is very thin. Um, the veil definitely has many meanings because we use veils when we get married. Some people may wear veils when people pass. Um, and a veil is just to cover something, in a sense, to hide it. In this case, it's meant in the unknown state of being after death. So that transition point um, is the veil that we're speaking of. So the days are definitely about to get shorter as we prepare to temporarily withdraw from the realm of life and growth. Again, this represents a transition, like a doorway or a portal, a path, or some sense, to reconnect with people that we may have lost. So, most may know that the true day of the dead, Dia de los Muertos, is actually November the 1st, as well as November the 2nd. The first is for remembering children who have passed on, and the second honors adults who are deceased. They normally use 3 to 7 levels, which represent her earth, heaven, and purgatory. And when I say 3 to 7 levels, that means that it's just a layering. So they would probably use a table and build shelves, or use a bookcase, or use some type of floating shelf, something that will represent different tiers. And they will set their altars up in that way. They'll just be much bigger altar. So there are many types of altars. Biblically, there are 4 types of altars, being an altar of praise, an altar of prayer, an altar of peace, and an altar of provision. You have self-offered altars, which I personally love, for the fact that I do all of my personal workings at this specific altar. So I would do my self-love work at this altar. I would do my money work at this altar, my protection work at this altar. If I decided to do any love work, that will be done on my personal altar. So then you have your ancestral altars. Uh, that would be more so honoring deceased people, friends, family. Um, then you have your orishas and deities. Those altars would specifically belong to one individual. Like in my Orisha altars, I work with Oshun. She has her own personal altar. She does not share a space with anyone. I also work with Lama Dama. She has her own altar space, where I only do work with her. And then, of course, I have my ancestral altar where I honor and communicate spiritually with them. And if I am asking them to assist with something, I'll do some work there. Um, there are forest altars for more people that are into nature, or um, just want to do certain workings outdoors. You have cemetery altars, which are commonly used as well for people that work with that particular spirit of the dead. Then you have road junction altars, which I'm sure and most people are familiar with them and not even realizing that they are altars. When someone passes in the street or gets in a car accident, and on the road you may see crosses or flowers and bears and candles, or just whatever they choose to leave at the site of someone that passed, would be considered a road junction altar. I know in my neighborhood, I'm from Chicago, uh, there are road junctions everywhere throughout Chicago, even on the suburbs, on the expressways. And most people don't even realize that they're making altars or practicing magic when they do this. They just, it comes natural for us, because as soon as someone passes, what do you go and do? You go to that site. You might have a visual. They leave things, bears and big boards with words and writings, and I miss you and I'll love you forever. And they leave those things there. That actually becomes an altar. We really don't realize that we're doing that spiritually, but that is what it is. Especially when a person passes in a particular area and place, that's where their body and spirit last was. And little do people know, they're creating altars and they're honoring them. When they do those balloon releases, it's an honoring of that person. So then you have your godly altars, and then you also can have satanic altars. So many altars to choose from. The choice is definitely up to you and what you decide um, to set up. So now, just some tips on supplies to set up an altar. Basically, altars do not have to be dramatic. They can be simple. They can consist of one thing. They can consist of two things, or they can be grand, bold, and just large and beautiful. So the one thing that you definitely want to have is space. You want to have a space, whether that's a floor, a windowsill, a table, a bookshelf, a dresser top, an end table. You want to have some sort of space to be able to go and just sit, meditate, think. Um, as you set up these tables or floors, you may want to use an altar cloth. It's not a requirement, but it's a supply that you can use. A towel, a sheet, a headscarf, whatever you're drawn to is what you could use. You might want to represent the four elements on your altar, being fire, water, air, or earth. Earth would consist of your stones, your crystals. Your air would be more of your incense, your sprays, um, oil lamps. I'm sorry, fire would consist of your candles, your oil lamps, um, and those type of things. Or burning, maybe you want to have an ashtray to burn, or a cauldron to burn in, or a pot, or an aluminum pan. You can, the possibilities are endless. Water, basically some water or liquor, a spiritual water, some sort of some type of water. So this one is orange blossom, just a spiritual supply. This is a Chinese Florida water. I do like the Murphy's Florida water as well, but I'm out of it at the moment. So other things could be like your washes, your floor washes or bath washes, representing some sort of liquid. So you definitely want to have a photo. And when you do ancestral altars, you use photos of deceased people only. Do not put a live person on an ancestral altar unless you're trying to make that person an ancestor. Um, you want to adore your altars with flowers and jewelry and possibly plants, personal objects from the deceased. Um, you want to definitely have plates, nice plates. No, I prefer not a paper plate, but you want to use some sort of nice plates, glass plates, antique plates, china plates. Um, you definitely want to feed your ancestors. You want to offer them drinks, their favorite drinks, preferably. Um, whether it's vodkas, cognacs, brandies, whiskeys, beers, wines, water, Kool-Aid, coffee, tea, whatever their preference is that you knew that they liked in the living, you would want to add that fruit. You can use written prayers. You might want to have a Bible, um, and have always keep a spare Bible to be able to use, to tear those pages out. You can burn them. You can rewrite them. You can place those prayers on your altar. You may want to keep a journal book at your altar. I know for my personal altar, I definitely keep a journal book on it. You may want to have books or tarot cards. There's nothing wrong with having an ashtray. You want to have something to use when you decide to burn things and you want to be able to catch the ash. You can use hell notes, real money, perfumes. The options are endless. When I say they are endless, they are endless. On personal altars, I like to make my oils and infuse them and bless them on my personal altar. Um, just whatever it is that you're particularly using, you want to of course cleanse it, bless it. Now, for those who can't openly practice, you literally have to get creative. The opportunities are endless. Create a vision board or take one individual picture, maybe in a picture frame, hang it on the wall. Grab you a chair, sit at that wall, light you a tea light. Tea lights, they cheap, they small. Get you a birthday candle, get you a chime candle, get you a 7-day candle, get you a half a candle, a small jar candle. It does not matter. Just light it if you can. Get you an incense or just a glass of water. Spirit loves water, so it moves better through water. And they can see light. So just having the water and the light is the bare minimum. An incense is a plus, not necessarily needed. But maybe you may want to take their perfume and spray it if you knew what the type of perfumes they liked, if you wanted to call on a specific person. Granddad liked Old Spice, go get some Old Spice. And when you're ready to sit down and chit chat with Granddad, spray it, and just look at that photo and get that candle. And if you just can't do those things, just sit and meditate. Literally calling out their names 3 times. And make a way to communicate and make time to just sit down and be patient and listen. You can definitely use the wall. You can make photo collages. Those are low key. People really won't know what you're up to or what you're doing. Or like I said, just take that one photo and communicate. If you can do it daily, that's a plus. If not, do it once a week. Um, but the thing is just to make the time. That's definitely the object, is to make the time and to have a place where you're able to just meditate, be with yourself, and be with them. And that is basic ancestral altar. If you want to get more in depth in altars, I do offer an altar class. It's done every Saturday and it's $75. You are able to schedule the class on my website, which is Wonderfull with 2 L's, healing conjure .bigcartel.com. I will put the link in the description, and I hope that you enjoyed this short class for ancestral altars. I hope to see you all soon. I have many more classes to come. 2024 is going to be full of the best classes and knowledge giving from Wonderfull Heal and Conjure. So thanks a lot.